our start of week technical analysis video. Jumping straight into things here, as you can see we have a blank chart. The reason for this is most of our drawings were marked up sort of around this sort of area back when price was in this price range. However, as you can see, we are now testing at new all-time highs for gold. Therefore, I have decided to go ahead and remove all drawings from previous data and go ahead and remark up the chart. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to my line chart and I'm just going to sort of have a little look and see if there is any common places which the market has tested as both support and resistance, or support or resistance. So with that being said, I'm just going to grab some rectangles here, just make it nice and simple, and just try and grab the new high and the new low, and then we will head over to our candlesticks and mark it up in a little bit more detail. So with the new high and the new support that has been created, we have these two levels. So this level looks like it can stay where it is. However, this level here I do want to sort of change a little bit and just make it fit a little bit nicer. So with that being said, that's the sort of levels we're looking at for gold right now. As you can see, gold is trading between the levels of around 2,983 and the new all-time high, which I believe was around 3,005, which is crazy news for gold. Obviously, as you can see, this initial bullish push here is substantial. Price pushed itself out of that. Once price came back into the 2,900 area, price then just continued bullish, and since then we have been bullish. However, as of right now, we are seeing some sideways movement. If I was to go ahead and go down to our minute 15, as you can see, price is now sort of pulling back up to near this area here, near this point of interest, which looks to be that it's going to come to test it either as a resistance, or we could potentially see price break all the way through, have a break and retest pattern, and price continues onwards. So with that being said, we're now down to our minute 15, and I'm just going to have a look if there's any lower levels that I would like to mark in. I'm going to go ahead and make these boxes purple so we can differentiate these from the minute 15 levels. Normally what you do is you'd hit the visibility button on the settings, and you'd unselect the ones which the time frame. So for example, for this, if you only want it to show on your hour one, you just deselect everything else other than hour one, and it would only show on your hour one. But for this case, we're just going to color code it and use that as our differentiator. So with that being said, what we're looking for now is we're just going to look for some other minor levels within the chart. I can see a level here that has been created after liquidity rested above this high. Yes, liquidity has been swept, but does that mean it's now an invalidated level? No, it's definitely going to be a point of interest that we want to take into account. To differentiate these point of interest between the two time frames that we have marked up on, I'm going to mark this one up in this green color here. In fact, I'm going to change it to that green. So as you can see, we are sort of consolidating. Price will either consolidate. So we saw these big pushes where price sort of came back to test that 3,000 area, and then price since then just sort of consolidated. As you can see, if I mark this in for you, just roughly, we can see that price has consolidated between these two ranges here, which is a range of around 2,984 to 2,980, and then a range resistance of around 2,993. So with that being said, as you can see, gold is currently testing on this level. If I go to my minute 5 real quick, you can see that we are now seeing a break of structure through this level. And if I go back to the minute 15, as you can see, we haven't had a significant move past this level since we dropped back down into it, apart from here. So what does this mean for us? So what could we potentially see for gold? So as of right now, what we could potentially see for gold is just a bullish increase, and price just continue to consolidate, but between a wider range of around 2,985 and the level of 3,000. So around 150 pip resistance and support consolidating range. However, there's another alternative that we could potentially see depending on economic news. There is no, as you can see down here, like you see here, there is no economic news events or high impacting economic news events anyway that we want to take into account for today's trading. So there's nothing there. However, with Trump being in power as of right now, there's a lot of things that he can say that will definitely make will cause an effect on gold, and that is the reason gold is increasing as of right now, because the US dollar, so the US, if I just type this in for you, the US dollar, and then if I do gold as well right next to it and just put gold, so when the US dollar goes down in value, so the dollar will always mean $1, but it's buying power. When that decreases, so when the dollar weakens, gold will go up. That's just the psychology of the market, and that's just how it works. So if the US dollar weakens, gold will increase, and the dollar is definitely weakening, especially with all the news that Trump has spoken about a sort of crypto Federal Reserve and other things along those sort of lines to do with crypto. He's very, very heavily talking about crypto rather than the US economy or the US dollar, which is definitely causing an impact on dollar, which then in turn impacts gold's price positively. So with that being said, what could we potentially see for this week? So if I go ahead and go to our hour one real quick, as you can see, we have these levels marked in. What we could potentially see is, if this bullish momentum continues, we could in fact see price break through this new all-time high, with price coming to around our 3010 mark. We could potentially see a nice trading setup for a swing move where price comes back down to retrace this, to retest this previous resistance of this range as a support somewhere around here, and we can see a break and retest pattern. However, if this bullish momentum continues, we most likely will see a continuation and a new all-time high hit. Going on our minute 5, just to dissect this a little bit more and go into a little bit more detail. So what we're looking at is we're looking at these two levels. So we have our top resistance of this range, we have our bottom resistance of this range, and then we also have our sort of midsection of this range. These are the three levels that us as traders are going to be taking into account here. With all of that being said, what could potentially happen today is we could see price come up to this area and test it. It could consolidate. Whatever happens, we are looking for either a breakout of this level or a breakout of our bottom level. But in the meantime, for sort of short period analysis or short-term analysis, we're just looking for price to either respect these two areas or sort of flip. If we know that, so for example, if price is like consolidating between these two ranges, between this middle section on the bottom side, we know the chances of a bearish push or a bearish break of structure of this bottom support is a lot more likely. Whereas if price breaks into this range above, so if this turns from a resistance into a support, which we can now see is taking place, and price consolidates here, it's more likely for gold to continue on bullish and have a break of structure on the bullish side. So there's a lot of things to take into account, but these three levels are the main levels which we are looking at as of right now. If we see a break of structure out of one of these two hour one levels, price will most likely continue on bullish, the same way as if we see a breakout of this bottom support of our hour one point of interest, we most likely will see a bearish continuation with price being taken back down into the 2900s, or to the mid sort of 2900. So that's going to be our start of week technical analysis. It's actually quite exciting for gold as of right now, as we do have sort of a clear understanding of what is going on. Looking at this hour one, you can see that price is consolidating. We have sort of a median support and medium resistance, and we also have a minute 15 midpoint, which just makes everything a little bit clearer and a lot more nicer to look at and to trade. So again, concluding this video, we're either waiting for a break of this level as a resistance with a bullish continuation, or a test as a resistance, indicating to us that we're going to continue to see consolidation. If we see price break below this level here and consolidate between this area, a bearish flip and a bearish break of structure of this bottom side support of this main range will most likely incur a bearish move. And then again, like I said, if we see price consolidate between these areas, a bullish break is more likely. If we see price consolidating between these two areas, we most likely will see a bearish break. So that's going to be that for our start of week technical analysis. It's very, very exciting for gold. It's a very nice time to trade gold as well. I understand it is in no man's land, but since we have consolidated in around this area, we're definitely getting some better confidence in some points of interest and places within the market where we can see that it is reacting or having an effect on price. So yeah, with that being said, that's our start of week technical analysis. I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I believe the last time I checked we was at 298 subscribers. If we can get to 300, that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, we really appreciate all the support, and I will catch you guys in the midweek technical analysis.